You have a responsibility to be mindful about how you're showing up in the world as you market your business, whether you like it or not. That's why we have Jeanne here today, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself, why this matters to her, and why it should matter to you. Welcome to the show.
Hello, and thank you for having me. Okay, so first of all, I'm Jeanne Omlor. I am an online business strategist and coach for other coaches and consultants, and I help coaches and consultants and certain service providers to scale online authentically without ads, so it's organic marketing. Now, why is this important? It's so important because we have a responsibility to actually be influencers, but a good influence. So I keep hearing, "Oh, I'm an influencer," and I always say, "Okay, you're a bad influence or a good influence or a lateral influence, just a nothing." So our goal is not to be a bad influence, obviously. Our goal is to be not just mediocre and vanilla. Our goal is to be a good influence. And it's really important how you show up because there is so much disingenuous behavior in the world. And I think the internet has just really maximized this opportunity for people to, be a certain way or be scammy or spammy. Very important, because once you ruin your reputation. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I just had a minor glitch here. So I had a pause there of you, and now we're good. We're all smooth.
Okay, good. Okay, so the thing is very important. I was talking to one of my mentors about this the other day. So important. Once you're online and people see one bit of behavior that's not honest or a little spammy or weird, okay, they're done. They're like, "Oh, wait a minute, you lost my faith." So you have to be so careful that all your actions are pure in a sense. Now, you might say marketing's not pure, but it is. Selling is a pure thing. We need to buy stuff. And nobody goes into a supermarket and says, "Oh my goodness, they're selling me groceries." So we've got to find a way to sell what we're doing to help people without any bad behavior.
I love that. And it's so true. And something that I want to kind of bring up, because you said about how if you do one thing that's off, that's not true to you, immediately you lose their trust. Immediately.
Right.
And I've heard time and time again that it takes time to build trust, but it takes a moment to lose it. And this is something you need to be mindful of. If you're showing up, whether you like it or not, if you're marketing your business, you are indeed an influencer. You are influencing not only your audience, but their prospective audiences. Because you're telling them, they're hearing you, they're digesting, they're receiving what you're marketing, and they are possibly emulating that, either consciously or subconsciously.
100%. Because if people like what you're doing, it's normal to model. We did not think of this ourselves. We're all an amalgam of what we've learned. And, there's some of us in it, right? We just have to be really careful that we're not, a puppet of some marketing person that's our mentor, and we're mini me, right? Yeah. So very important, but it's hard to do because people are badly influenced and they think that this way of marketing that's been, popular for years, where you're kind of half lying, well, a half lie is a lie as far as I'm concerned. So when people say to me, "Well, should I say this, Jeanne?" I say, "Is it true?" Well, if it's not true, don't say it. "Oh, well, that person taught me that." I've had to unteach people how to market. Unteach. And they're like, "But that's what marketers told me." I said, "Well, that's not good." True marketing is not lying. True marketing is highlighting your value effectively. It's just highlighting your value or what you're doing or your company or the product or whatever. It's not lying about what a product can do and then people buy it and go, "Oh my goodness, this is not what they said." Or lying about your service is that yes, you're going to serve them and coach them and then you disappear, because all that's happening is people are going to talk to each other. And it's funny, I just found out that a big coaching company that was really popular like 4 years ago had such bad behavior. And I thought, how could nobody know enough? Eventually it got around all the way and they had to close their doors because, people talk. Yeah. So now I'm not saying that every single coach never has one complaint. We're human, right? There's always going to be one or two clients that don't like you, don't do the work, or blah, blah, blah. Or correct? However, that's one thing. It's another thing to actually have done something wrong and lied or not given what you said. Okay? That needs to be looked at. So never ever say you're going to do something, for instance, and then don't deliver and don't follow through, because they're listening, they're hearing, they're not happy, and they're going to talk to other people. Now, if somebody doesn't like you, that's different. Hey, I worked with Shauna, and she did what she said, but I just didn't like her. Well, that's not your problem, right? It's not your problem. Your problem is not whether people like you or not. That is not our job. Our job is to do exactly what we say we are going to do. And that is our job, to be pleasant and loving and help people and care about results.
Absolutely.
And treat people well with love. Because, there's also this thing, well, I helped them, but yeah, but you were mean about it. No need to be mean. So it's almost like, well, you got our help. It's that old bro kind of thing going on. So your problem is not that people like you. That's not your problem. You have no control over that. All you do is you show up, you be yourself. And, I do push the envelope as far as like provoking people, because I'm not saying you have to be vanilla and do what every good little person has to do. However, have a voice, speak your truth, point out problems, and don't worry about people not liking you for that either, by the way. Okay. Like some people wouldn't want to work with me. They're like, oh my gosh, she's just too like raw, right? I'm attracting the people that do like that don't want a coach that says, oh, hello, lovely, you're doing an amazing job, when they're not, because they're so worried about being liked. Okay. Of course I want people to like me, but my job is not based around having people like me. I don't think about that. I think about, okay, how do I serve people? How do I turn up authentically? We filter everything we write about to make sure it's accurate. We inspire, we help, we do sell because I'm a business, but we don't lie. But my job is not, oh, how am I going to get people to like me? Okay. I did do a video about how to be likable on social media, however, which is not what you think. It's not what you think. Okay.
Which is a really great, effective marketing tactic, by the way. Just if anybody's curious, they're like, oh, well, is this? No, you take an idea, turn it on its head. How do you be likable on social media?
Well, actually, it was about being helpful and kind.
It
wasn't about, driving your Lambo.
There you go. So there are a few things that I'm hearing. Number one, which I freaking love, is this concept that I've actually coined, misleading. I haven't coined it. That's silly. But I started saying it like this and people seem to like it. It's this misleading marketing. And it's contrast to, and it's holding hands with this idea of highlight marketing.
Right.
So it's this idea of you're like embellishing the potential, which is, potential is good. I always say, always open the door to possibility, because potential is great. But if you embellish it, that's not okay. That's where we're starting to get a little hyperbolic, and it borders on lying.
Well, it does. It does. Also, withholding information is actually a lie of omission.
Lying of omission, exactly. Right. That's one of my favorite
it's a very moral discussion here. I love it. The point is that I feel like we all know what the right thing to do is. We ought to. Unless we're sociopaths, then we don't know. And what people are being trained to be desensitized to what is okay. Okay. Now, my thing is, you want to make money in the right way. You don't want to make money or bring in money or earn money or whatever you want to say, create money or manifest, whatever it is, in the wrong way, because that's something that weighs on your soul. That okay, I made a lot of money, but I didn't really feel good about how I made it. You're never going to be able to justify that in your heart when you move on, right? So to me, it's way more important to make a ton of money. Sure, I love it, in the right way.
That's right.
Helping people, telling them exactly. I'm super transparent about what goes on in my program. Super transparent. People ask a question. I don't do the whole, they always say, don't go into the weeds when you're selling. People want to be in the weeds. They want to know exactly. I think COVID changed this. They want to know exactly what they're getting for the investment. They want to see the possibility, and you're going to show them the possibility. You're going to show them, what clients achieved, what clients did not achieve. I do that as well. They didn't do the work. It didn't work. No mystery. But if somebody says to me, oh, so I'm going to come in your program and this is going to happen, I say, well, if you don't do the work, it won't happen, because it's not a magic wand. People still need to take action, right? But I've been told there are coaches that say, oh, it's going to work no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
How's that possible for something to work no matter what if you don't take action? You're going to sit there and fairy dust is going to fall on your head no matter what with you not doing anything? And I've had people say, yes, the coach said that. I said, well, you shouldn't have believed that. And so then it gets to the point of being realistic.
Yeah.
If you are a get-rich-quick scheme person, then those people will find you and they will tell you whatever you want to hear to make you hand your money over because you want to get rich quick scheme. If you're a person that wants fairy dust to fall on your head and clients are going to magically turn up without a sales call, and you meet somebody that sees that, they will sell you that. So be careful what you're wishing for if it's not at all realistic. Now, on the other hand, beautiful miracles can happen. And that's the other side where people are like, oh, it's never going to work. Like, oh yeah, I mean, this did happen. So there's a balance to be had where we're positive about the magic of what can happen and possibility if you do the work, right? As opposed to, oh, that's never going to happen because it just doesn't. So I'm finding two sides of the spectrum sometimes. Okay?
Absolutely. And something that you said actually earlier was just about this idea of marketing being, because I'm hearing this in what you're saying right now. It's just marketing can be slimy. It can feel wrong. And this is actually a really great concept that I think I may have brought up in the past, where it's actually technically called bullshit rhetoric, because rhetoric is very simply put, the art of persuasion, right? But this art of persuasion is specific for the seeker of truth. Rhetoric. Bullshit rhetoric is the opposite.
Right.
It is propaganda. It is the art of persuasion with the intent to harm, truly, with the intent to manipulate. So what we're saying here, in essence, is use rhetoric, use the art of persuasion in order to help, for good, for the seeking of truth, not for the other.
No. Now, the thing is, obviously, we get clients in my business, but my mission on my sales call, I don't even call it a sales call anymore because it's not, it's conversation. My mission, I have an alter ego that I go into called the Voracious Life Changer. That's my mission on that call. That call is not about, hey, let's get your money. And no, it is, I'm turning up. I still take my sales calls, even though I'm a multi-million-dollar coach. I still turn up to my sales calls to this day myself. I'm not going to be able to handle them all soon. However, I've managed. All right. When you go in with a mission to serve on the sales call, of course, you want to sell them something as well if it serves them. So when I turn up as the Voracious Life Changer, I'm there to get rid of all their bad mindset. That yes, you can do this, but I make sure I can help them. And I say to them, if I'm 100% certain that we can help you, then I will run by what we've got going on. But I don't even tell certain people about it because I just know they're not a fit. They're not ready. It's just not going to work. Not because of us, because them. Okay. So when you turn up with an alter ego of, okay, what am I doing on this call apart from trying to get people's money out of them? Okay. It has to be way bigger than that. That should not be the goal. The goal should be, I'm on this call to see if I can change this person's life. Let's see that. Let's just investigate that. Great. And I'm there, the Voracious Life Changer, helping them out in that call. Like, okay, what do you want? And if they're like, oh, but no, you got this. If I see that they're like low in confidence, it's about figuring out, will this work for them? If I get them to a certain point on that call, then I'm 100%. Like, okay, but this is 100%. We can help you. Do you want to hear about it? And they're like, sure. Okay. That should be the goal, is serving them. And if they're not a fit, it is not serving them to sign them up for your program or coaching or and service. It's not serving them. It will not go well.
And this is something that people need to start to understand, is that even on those calls, regardless of whether you close, keep that completely out of your mind. You are still marketing yourself. This is why I say you're never not marketing. You are still marketing yourself. So if you come to this call from a place of service, I like to help people solve their closest obstacle so that they can continue to move forward, again, regardless of whether they work with me or not.
Right.
And so we're still serving. So they're hearing you. And earlier this call, you said that word of mouth. Now, I don't think you used these exact words, but word of mouth is still the most effective means of marketing. So if you're marketing yourself one-on-one in such a way that they are left just mind blown and loving you, then they're going to tell their friends.
Okay,
And that is a
okay,
really effective way to market.
I actually disagree with that.
Okay, this is great. I love this. Let's go.
I disagree with that. When people say what gets around like wildfire is gossip. What gets around is if you treated somebody a certain way on a sales call, everybody on the internet will know immediately. That word of mouth gets around. Trust me on this. Negative stuff gets around in about 3 seconds. Okay. However, if you want people to talk about you and refer you, no, that does not naturally happen. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure. I think that you're right in that.
You have to ask for referrals. You have to ask them, because people generally don't go, oh my goodness, you got this great coach, I'm going to tell you about them. You have to ask them. They go, oh, you're right. I will tell some people.
I feel like that expedites the process. Like that will expedite it. However, if you surround yourself with the people who don't, well, like, okay, so gossip's going to spread. Negative. That's why you see all these negative reviews. You have to be very careful about the reviews you see on Google, right? Because people are going to be quick to leave a negative review and slow to leave a positive one. I agree. And I believe that people still, like, I leave positive reviews all the time. I got an email the other day saying that I'm in the top 10 reviewers or something. I'm like, okay, cool. But I'll leave a positive one just as much as a negative one. And it depends on who you're surrounding yourself with.
Sure.
And I think that word of mouth will still happen. And you're right. Again, you'll expedite the process by asking for the referral. But it still happens. You still get introduced.
I'm trying to help your people on this call right now. So I will insist, because my mission is to help people.
We're allowed to agree to disagree, which is my favorite part of
this. I really want to help people, and I'm not going to let that go, because I train on this. Yes, you will get people saying lovely things. I've heard people say, oh my gosh, this person said she worked with you and she loved it. I love it. Okay, so yes. However, here's a strategy for everybody.
Love strategies.
If you want referrals, you must ask for them.
Absolutely.
If you want to make that like part of your strategy. Okay, because otherwise you're just like, oh, I'm hoping that people talk about me. Why would you hope when you could actually just voice yourself and say, hey, did you enjoy working with me? Tell me about other people that might enjoy working with me. And they'll go, oh, okay, I didn't think of that. I will.
We're paddling in the same boat, my friend.
Sure, but why just stop there why stop there?
Well, you wouldn't. That's why I say that asking for it expedites.
Yes.
But if you ask for it and you've left a bitter taste in their mouth and you haven't effectively marketed yourself, then they're not going to bother. You can say, please refer somebody, and they'll be like, okay, sure. Not doing that.
But you'd not be dumb enough to ask somebody that was not happy with you to refer you anyway.
Provided you can sense whether or not they're happy. There are some people who are really.
We've gotten results for clients. I mean, obviously they're happy, right?
I'm talking about the sales call. The
sales call.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Leaving a good taste in somebody's mouth when you're marketing yourself in that really vulnerable situation.
Right. I would never ask for a referral on a sales call.
There you go.
Because they haven't had an experience of working with me and results. I'm talking about clients for that.
Yes. Right. Yes. So it's a different stage in the process, right? That client experience. But what I'm saying is on the sales call, you have effectively marketed yourself. If they leave that sales call, regardless of working with you or not, and they're like, I didn't choose to work with them for my own reasons, but they were really pleasant. I'm going to continue to endorse them. Sure. Maybe it's subtle, maybe it's overt, but they're still there. You've kind of built up that community.
Right. And, I've had people come back way later.
Yes.
I never forgot that call. And it's rare, but every now and then, way later. Because it's funny with me, people tend to just jump on it right away. Or they're just like, oh, I don't know. It's a personality thing. But people generally immediately sign up with me. Like, they look around, they see my stuff, they go, I'm in, you're amazing. It's when they start to think about it sometimes and they go back into their cave, then they're too afraid to come back out again. So I pull people into the light on that sales call. I get people out of the cave into the light and they're like, wow. But then if they go back into the cave, sometimes they go further back into the darkness and it's hard to get them back out again.
Understandable. Completely understandable. So what are we looking at? We've got about 5 minutes, and I want to dive into how all of this, how you're marketing, how you're showing up in on the entire journey of your prospective clients coming into your world. How is that impacting, the way you're influencing things. Like we were talking about the impact, maximizing your leadership impact. Like how would you describe that journey as a leader, making an impact in all of those different steps that we just described that add up to you effectively creating a legacy for yourself?
It's so interesting because I never set out to be a leader. I didn't set out to be an influencer. Okay. I just basically, the thing shut up and row. That's a saying, shut up and row. I shut up and I rode. Okay. I shut it up and I rode. How do you say shut it up? Okay. But anyway, I did that.
Yeah.
And it's really about, people always say, oh, how can I be an influencer? Why are you even asking that question?
Yeah.
Like really, like, how can I be a leader? You just become one by doing the work. And I think these questions of how do I never asked that question. I just went out, I served, I got people, and I started writing from my heart, and saw problems, and I pointed them out, helped a lot. I give a lot of free advice, like how to do this, how to get clients, blah, 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 lots. And I just did the work. And then eventually people would say to me, like, and I heard somebody say one day, well, like an influencer like you. And I thought, me? Are you talking about me? And it dawned on me that I became it by just being first and doing. Because, be, do, have. It's not do, have, and then become somebody. You're being yourself first and you're doing something with that. Then you have. Okay.
And that's neurologically proven. Just to let everybody know, this is based on neuroscience.
Yep.
Be that person first.
Right. So that's all I was doing. And I wasn't looking around going, how am I doing, Mom? How am I doing? I never asked that question. I never asked how many views I got. I never did that. My thing was do the work, help people, do the work, get clients, serve, get results. Sure, I got testimonials, put those on a page. You have them right there. And then just kept building. And then people started feeding back. I got feedback. Oh, well, an influencer like you, a leader like you. Really? Am I? Oh, okay. Oh, I guess I am. That is authenticity. I hate that word, but that's truth. I wasn't trying to be a leader. I wasn't trying to be an influencer. I was just doing my work. So shut up and row, folks. Just row.
And I'm going to say too, because this is really important. Somebody identified you as a leader, as an influencer. And I want to say that I want to identify people, no matter whether they have a large group they're influencing or a small group. Exactly. Every single person is influencing someone. So you need to be mindful about that whole concept of shut up and row. You need to be mindful about the things you're doing because people are watching. Even if you don't realize it, even if they're wallflowers, they're watching.
They are. And I don't want to make people because I don't want to think about that sometimes because I'm an introvert. So I'm just like doing my thing and I don't really think too much. I just do it, press send, And then later on, I'm like, oh, that's right. People do see that, but you don't want to think too much. Just be yourself. Right. And, I show messy stuff. I broke my nose. Those photos of me looking like I was beaten in a boxing match were put on Facebook.
From a bike. By the way, from a bike accident, she was not indeed beaten. I would be saying something.
Bike accident. I fell on concrete on my face and it broke everything. It was terrible. And I thought, this happened. So it wasn't pretty at all. And I put it on. I said, look, things happen to all of us. This is me. And this is now looking a bit better. I had a cast on at that point. It was bad. And, why would I hide that? People have to know we all have stuff happen to us. We're not immune. And I'm big about that. Like, here it is. This is what happened. I think people appreciate that I'm not pretending that my life is perfect because it sure ain't. Nobody's life is perfect. And I think we got to get away from trying to make people feel like, oh, your life's so great. Why would we want to make people feel bad? I want to inspire. Sure. I go on a jet every now and then. Sure. I have a Tesla. But somebody actually said to me, you know what, Jeanne? She said, you position your success that you're enjoying, because I'm not a success, I'm enjoying success, it's not me. She said, you do that in a good way. It's not like trying to make us feel bad. We still see you in your normal everyday black t-shirt all the time. And, she goes, it feels good the way you're doing that because you're not like bragging about it, but you're showing possibility, which is my intention. My intention is to show possibility of becoming more successful, that you can do these things. Okay.
And that is an amazing space, that headspace for me
Mm.
to ask you
Mhm.
from that space.
Mm.
How many times do you think I can say space? That's not the question, but just reflecting on
Space,
that.
space, 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 space.
That's great. Hey, you know what? The kids are really into Jupiter right now. We're going to dive in. What is some last words that you can give to the audience to really get them to embrace that headspace and move forward in a way that feels empowered and ready to succeed? And also, don't forget to ask people or tell people where they can get in touch with you, because that is equally important.
Sure. Okay. So, first of all, there is just so much story going on and wasted energy and time and floating around. And after speaking to thousands of people and coaching hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, the core is you are worthy and ready right now. You're worthy and ready right now. You don't need another 4 certifications. I speak with people that are certified up the wazoo and they still say they have no confidence. You are worthy and ready right now. NOW is the time to take action right now, not in the past, not in the future, right now. We are being influenced by stories we tell ourselves. Stories of, oh, I can't be successful. Oh, that's for other people. I have to have a whole program built and get blah, blah, blah. I have to have this. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not young enough. I'm not male enough. I'm not blah, blah, blah enough. We've got to understand these are just stories. And we have to understand that the opposite are also stories. But we want to create a story that serves us consciously, that it is a story, but we're all good. It's a good story. So, yeah, it's all stories. Choose your story. Choose your story that will move you forward, a good one. And drop the stories that are imprisoning you, that aren't even true, because all you're doing is spinning and spinning. And if you could just say to yourself, I'm going to believe Jeanne Omlor, I'm worthy and ready right now, and I'm going to do this now with no more waiting. Okay, that's my last word. You will see, if you go to jeanneomlor.com/reviews/, you will see hundreds of stories, of good stories of how we've helped clients. You can also book a call if you want, and I will turn up personally.
Love that. And also, don't forget, everybody, that you're going to be able to find that link in the show notes. So you don't need to go hunting for it, but it is there for you to dive in and connect with Jeanne anywhere. I believe your main place is LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, my name, you'll find me. You can DM me. I'm very open.
Find her wherever you love to hang out. I love that. Okay, so with that, I want to thank you, Jeanne, for being on this show. And then also remind everybody that we do these conversations weekly. So you want to subscribe, you want to follow, you want to hop in so that you know when it's coming next, because there's always more to explore in this world of marketing and living life fully. All right. Thank you again, Jeanne.